Today you're going to learn how to become a profitable trader in the market, all right? And when we say profitable, we don't just mean in learning what buttons to press. We don't just mean winning an occasional trade, showing your friends, hey, look what I did on my demo. We're talking about truly, sustainably profitable in real time, all right? So, what gives us the merit? What gives us the credit to talk about it, right? I want to show you a case study that we did with our LYMG clients. So if you're new here, you're going to have some fun, all right? But look, check this out. So we had one of our clients, Mr. Thomas, and another one of our clients, Mr. Everett. We're going to do a case study based off of those two right there, okay? So Mr. Thomas was able to retire from his 9 to 5 that he had for over a decade just from a year and a half of trading with LYMG. Mr. Everett was able to make $200,000 within these past 5 months. So when I say these past 5 months, I'm meaning the span of time that I'm talking to you right now. We're talking about these months, all right? So from about, let's say about August 2025 to January 2026, he's been able to make nearly $250,000 in real time. I'm talking about coming to his bank account, not just somewhere propped up on some type of demo trading screen. So I was looking at them and I was looking to see, okay, what characteristics and traits do they share, and how can we help people become real profitable traders in the market? I know you may see a lot of stuff online and make it seem like everybody's winning, but the reality is over 90% of retail traders lose, like really lose in real time. So a lot of times you just see people's highlights and then you're comparing it to yourself, your real time in real life. And you're like, you know what? You're getting frustrated, or you may have won some trades before and you're just not consistently profitable like you would like. So you still have to exchange your time for money. All right. So a little bit about me. I left the 9 to 5 2 weeks before the pandemic started. So that means I left the job before the pandemic started. I didn't know there was going to be a pandemic in 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying? So I really feel like it was God's divine timing, though, because I just took a leap of faith and I said, hey, you know what? I've learned the skill and I'm ready to go ahead and just go. I placed my first trade in 2020. No, excuse me. I placed my first trade in 2013. Left the job right before the pandemic started, so that had to be somewhere around 2020. You see what I'm saying? So 7 years of learning. This is leaving a job with no community. So it wasn't like I was, making some money off of people or anything like that. I literally left the job, just straight skill set, raw trading, and I would not advise people to do that, right? People will say, like, hey, you did it, but y'all, there were a lot of sleepless nights. There were a lot of sleepless nights. It was a lot of trading trauma that I had to learn to overcome. And I didn't start the LYMG community until probably a year or two after I left the job. So there was enough study time to show myself approved to be able to make the money from trading to leave the 9 to 5, right? And so then from there, teaching people, it's been a breeze, but not because of, oh, hey, yeah, I'm just like that. I truly believe it's a calling. It's a calling. It's something that God put on me, and I truly have a connection with the people that I teach, right? So you always got to remember this. When you're talking to somebody who's really called to teach, we have an ability, and you might see it here today, we have an ability to answer questions that you never asked. You see what I'm saying? And we have an ability to put it in a way to where you're going to understand it in your real life in real time. You see what I'm saying? You might be like, well, I was just about to ask that question, right? And that's why I give all glory to God. So let's look at these. We have 4 principles that we're going to look at today, right? And the first one that I have right here, okay, when I look at Mr. Everett, when I look at Mr. Thomas, right, and I look at their success and they're still with LYMG. If you rock with LYMG, you'll see them in our meetings in real time. They're there. They don't miss meetings at all. We have several other clients that I would like to cover as well. Some other clients that I actually like to get up here, sitting in the seat, right? So we're going to see in real time, all right? But first, the biggest thing that I noticed is number one, make sure you write this down. They were able to take transformation, prioritize the transformation over the information. The average person, listen to what I'm saying, thinks that they can prioritize the information and they ignore the transformation, right? So here's what that means. The average person thinks that they can come as they are, distracted, annoyed, pissed off about their circumstances, like not loving life, not anything, and they can get their hands on some information and that is genuinely supposed to work for them. Like they really believe that, right? And the word puts it pretty simple, right? It says casting your pearls amongst swine. Now, when you cast pearls amongst swine, who's the fool? The swine is the swine, right? The swine can't change, right? The pig go oink, but the person who's casting the pearls, that's the one who's lacking discernment, because why would you cast that amongst swine, right? If you put the information before the transformation, you might be the type of person who's you're impatient, but you don't realize that's your problem. You have a short attention span and you don't realize that's your problem. You don't prioritize getting the gym, you prioritize getting the gym and the aesthetic that you like. So you say things like, I'm a visual learner or I'm a hands-on person. So you say you're a visual learner, but the answer's in a book. But because the book doesn't have pictures, you live life as though the answer is not right there. You see what I'm saying? That's information over the transformation. So you're prioritizing the style the information came in, and you don't like the aesthetic, so you just act as though, I didn't get it. You see what I'm saying? Like, think about that for a second. We could go through millions and billions of those type of examples right there, right? So what I noticed about Mr. Everett, what I noticed about Mr. Thomas is that they were able to take our LYMG principles, which is we're going to teach you who to become so that you can become a profitable trader. Here is who you need to become, because if you become this person, you're going to do exactly what that person needs to do, and you're going to have everything that a profitable trader has, which is a lot of money in the bank, which is your time back, your freedom back, all right? So simple things like this. Write notes. Somebody who prioritizes information over transformation, they'll sit there and try to remember when you're trying to teach them, right? So I look at it like this right here. You're trying to remember what I'm saying. I always tell clients to do this. Write it down, because you have more important things to remember, more important things like your children's birthday, more important things like phone numbers, more important things like addresses, more important things like, hey, how do I spell my name? More important, any and everything else is more important for you to remember and store up in your head, because there are going to be certain things that you have to recall. When it comes to trading, it is a visual language in terms of looking at the charts and being able to interpret it. So the charts are speaking to you. You have to be able to look at candlestick patterns and other things going on and be able to figure out what the charts are saying, because they're always speaking to you. So if you don't take notes and draw out these patterns, you're not going to be able to do what? Learn the language. And if you're not going to be able to learn the language, you're going to be caught looking for shortcuts to try to make smart money while remaining dumb. You see what I'm saying? That is that's the biggest temptation for people right now, right? There are so many people selling you a dream that you can make smart money while remaining stupid, and you try to go about it that way. They hit you with all you got to do is content, but they're never the all you got to do is person. They're truly a nerd, but I'm going to say it because they won't. They're truly a nerd who took the time out to learn. They're really nerdy for real. They might look cool and dress cool and drive a cool car, but they've studied to show themselves approved. They've took the losses. They've stayed up late with it. It didn't work out the first, second, third, or fourth time they did it. And now they're telling you all you have to do is, because they simply don't think that you're going to have the wherewithal to pay attention. So they're trying to make it easier for you and give you a shortcut. But in reality, guess what? A lot of them pivot because you end up getting on their nerves. You see what I'm saying? So, because what? You put the information over the transformation. You didn't transform into who you need to be for the information to work for you. So they were casting pearls amongst swine. right? Nobody ever told you to just write notes. So I'm going to tell you the perfect way to write notes and take your notes so that you can become a profitable trader. Step number one is write everything down in bullet points, right? Do not start writing down novels. When you're going to take notes, write the bullet point, write what it's about, draw out your market pattern, draw out your candlestick pattern 8 times. All right? 8 times is the amount of times that the human brain needs to receive something for it to be lodged and stuck in your subconscious. So if you really want to make life changing money, this thing needs to be stuck in your subconscious. Draw out your market pattern 8 times, read it back, right? Go read your notes back to yourself, bam, and then teach it back to yourself. If you can't do those things, that'll take you 15 minutes. If you can't do those things, then you're getting information to say that you know it so that when somebody brings up a conversation about it, you can go, oh, yeah, 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 and start pointing out vocabulary words. We don't care about the vocabulary words. And I tell our LYMG community this. You can literally say the thingy majigger or the whatchamacallit. I don't care as long as you know where to enter and where to take profit based off of principles. If you know what you're looking at on the charts, you could say the googly magoo versus a person who has all the jargon right, but they can't tell you when and where to enter and exit trades, all right? So always make the transformation first, all right? Transformation first. So to be a profitable trader, you need to be attentive, right? You need to know how to communicate. That's the next thing. Communicate does not mean that you need to know all the answers. Communicate means that, hey, ask questions. Ask questions to gain clarity. Clarity is going to lead to competence. Competence is going to lead to cash flowing to your bank account. Don't think that you're going to get exposed to something, some new information for the first time while you're fresh off of work, while you're just coming off a shift, or while you have a few minutes and the kids are in the background yelling, and then somebody asks you, okay, do you understand it? And you go, yep, okay, I got it. Next, what's the next thing? You don't understand it because you haven't even implemented it yet. You haven't given yourself enough time to take the information and apply it in real time. So we have 2 stages, right? I always tell people, look here, when we go over something the first time, I'm not putting the pressure or the stress on you to go ahead and say that you know it or that you got it figured out. You know it when it's quiet. You know it when the market's not moving. When we're meeting at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday as a team and we've already made our money during the U.S. session and now we're reflecting on our moves and reviewing it, you know the answer then, and it's quiet. The kids might be in another room. You're not at work. But guess what? The money is moving while you're at work. Do you know it then? Because if you don't know it then guess what you got to do? You have to ask questions and you have to implement the information in environments that you're actually going to use it in, right? So it's like this. I could talk all the basketball in the world, right? I could talk all the basketball in the world and I could talk about how good of a basketball player that I am, right? And I could do it right here. But that will show when I hit the court. So I can do all type of moves or whatever, but if I hit the court and the game is moving too fast for me, that means I don't know basketball. I can't play basketball. It's the same thing with trading. You might know some definitions. You might know how to call some things off the top of your head, and that would make you feel like you have experience in trading. But can you go ahead and execute trades on news days? Do you know when the market is going to pick up volume? Do you know when it's going to calm down? Do you know when there's a good time for you to trade based off your schedule? These are things that we teach here at the LYMG community. All right. So remember, transformation over information. Focus on who you need to become. Make sure you're a good note taker. Number 2, make sure you communicate. Think of questions as your new checks right there, right? If you want to increase the amount of money that you make, ask more questions. Don't be so prideful and think, oh, I got to have all the answers. And don't sit there and not say anything and sit there in confident confusion. That's my number 1 pet peeve this year and for every year beyond. Confident confusion is number one because if you've graduated just high school, we're not even going to talk about college. If you've graduated high school, you have the very bad habit. You have a lot of muscle memory in thinking that you're going to get more done alone and that you can't talk. When it's time to show what you know, you can't talk. And that is the worst habit. That is the worst habit that we've learned in our school system because it goes like this. Go take a test. You. Your answer on your paper only. Your eyes and answers on your papers only, and you can't talk and get the answers from anywhere else. Since a kid, that creates muscle memory and hold on, wait, don't help me. Don't help me. Don't help me. I got it. I'm going to figure it out by myself. And when you're in a place like when you're on the charts and the whole name of the game is trillions and leverage, and you're here with a blue collar mentality like, hey, I want to figure this out myself. Don't nobody tell me the answer. I want to figure it out myself. All you're doing is slowing yourself down. Mr. Everett and Mr. Thomas are two of the best leveragers, if that's not a word, then it is today. They're two of the best leveragers that I know, right? Mr. Thomas worked for the United States Postal Service, right? So I remember one day he made $8,908, and I think like 17 cents. Just let you know, like this is happening in real time. And it was during a live trading session that we had, and we had this during the U.S. session, so it's in the morning. This is during his actual work time. He told us he had one AirPod in. He put the phone on mute so he could hear us, and he was following along audibly. And when we said, hey, y'all, we're in this trade, boom, we're going to ride it up to here, he got in that trade and made $8,900 while he was at work. That's how you leverage. If he hadn't been the type of person who understands the power of leverage, he would have missed that trading session altogether and said, oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and figure it out on my own time. So now he would have saw the team win such crazy numbers, right? Winning at such an alarming rate and making that type of money, and he would have tried to go and emulate that on his own. So he would have voluntarily put pressure on himself by doing what? Speeding through content to feel like, okay, I got to catch up and I got to hit a big lick on the charts. I got to find a move and it's up from there. And then he just would have been chasing ghosts, right? He would have felt like he missed out on something because now he's trying to make up for money that he never had. How many of y'all are doing that on the charts right now? How many of you are looking at opportunities, you're looking around on social media, or you're looking at stuff that you missed in the market, and this money never touched your bank account, it never got off the demo account or anything, and you feel like, man, I could have made that in real time. So you're already sped up, and you're speeding yourself up even more. What do you think is going to happen on your trading journey if you don't stop that? What do you think is going to happen? Nothing good. So you have to be a great communicator. And I don't mean being a great orator. I mean simply get over your pride and ego. Ask questions to understand, not just asking questions to know what something's called. Understand how it works. Understand the scenario which you're going to use it in, and then simulate that scenario. So if you understand trading at 8 o'clock at night when the markets are chill, you don't understand trading. I'm talking about if you're going to be day trading and you're going to be trading the session that has the most volume, and you're going to be in a New York session, right? And you're saying you want to learn how to day trade. You need to be able to say, okay, I'm usually in between emails or I'm usually in between meetings at this time. So I need to focus on candlestick pattern recognition. Or how we do here to make life easier on our clients at LYMG is we send 2-3 minute videos. We send 2-3 minute little summary videos. Here's what you want to see. If price does this, then we're going to do that. If price does that, then we're going to do this. Oh, and by the way, here's a signal as well. So not only do you have what? You have the strategy, you have what you're going to do regardless of what the market does, and then you get the signal to go with it. So you have the competence plus the confidence. That leads to the cash flow. So you're not just a glorified button presser, right? You got to start moving like a CEO. CEOs know how to leverage, right? CEOs know how to leverage. A CEO is not at every single meeting that a company has. You don't have to be you don't have to be there with 4, 5, 6 screens pulled up for every trade that you need to make money from. You see what I'm saying? A CEO comes to the most important meetings, and guess what? When that CEO walks in, the people who are at the meetings debrief the CEO and say, hey, here's what you missed. Here are the focal points. Here are the KPIs. Here's what we need to look at. You need to do the same thing. Just like you have a hairdresser, just like you have a barber, just like you have a tailor or whatever the case may be, just like you have a car that you leverage to get places, just like you have a cell phone that you leverage to communicate. You need to have somebody that you leverage on the charts. And that's what Mr. Thomas and Mr. Everett have. They use LYMG for that. They leverage LYMG to go ahead and make money while they're moving throughout their own life. Now, guess what? Both of them have been able to buy time back. And the cool thing about these two stories are these are not people that come from some type of finance background. Mr. Everett is a traveling musician, right? He plays the drums and he's very good at it. That's what he was doing when I met him. That's how he was making his money. You know what I'm saying? Touring domestically and abroad to go and doing that. Now to make a quarter by the end of next month, he'll be at 250,000. You see what I'm saying? To make that within half a year, it's amazing, right? Mr. Thomas, like we said, he came from working at the post office, and we actually did an interview with him. The clips of that are on this page as well, right? So you don't need to come from money. You don't need to come from a fancy financial background. You don't even need to be good at math. You need to know how to leverage. You need to have the discernment to be able to recognize what other people's strengths are and leverage their strength instead of trying to compete with their strength. All right? That's major, major, major. That's the transformational piece. If you can do that, then guess what? You do those things right there. Go back and watch this again and take notes on that. You do that, you'll be able to make money from trading, right? Take notes well, ask questions for clarity and to be able to understand it. Not just to be able to check it off on a test like how we were taught. And you communicate, right? Do not try the rugged individualism. The market is moving trillions of dollars a day, right? And if not trillions, then multiple billions, depending on what market you're trading, right? But with trillions and billions, everything and everybody is being leveraged. Coming in there with rugged individualism, hold on, don't tell me the answer. Hold on, this means more to me because I made $10 by myself versus that person who made 10,000 with a team and they're leveraging. Oh, this means more. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Don't make it nasty. You want to know how you know you're in the wrong place doing that? Because banks take the money that everyday people put in and they leverage that money to go give out loans. They leverage that money and they give it to their traders to go and put in the market to make money from. They don't take money out of their pockets and say, hey, go take this money and make some money for me. No, they leverage your money. They leverage my money. So they understand leverage, all right? So now this next thing right here is super duper crucial, all right? I wrote these down, so I want to make sure that we got it. And I want to make sure we're going to be here for about an hour. And I want to ensure that you're getting some value from this in real time because it is a lot of foo-foo content out there. I'm going to be honest with you. People who really teach a lot of times, like for real, we're too busy on the charts. We're too busy doing consultations, one-on-ones, boot camps, things like that. So a lot of us aren't really in front of the camera. So that leaves you with the people who want attention. You have people who want attention. They see the praise that the teacher gets, right? And they want that. So they go and barely learn a skill. They get the least amount of, I don't even want to call it success. They get some results from it. And then they run to you and show you, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. Hey, come rock with me. But the whole thing is they want the attention, right? And here's the thing. I want to talk to those people for just a minute. And I'm not going to stay on this long. And I want to talk to you so that you can see. I want you to be able to see the fruit while we're talking. Here's the thing that people don't tell you when it comes to teaching, right? When God gives you the gift of teaching, because it's a gift, it's a blessing, there's weight that comes with that gift, right? No gift is just, a lot of times you hear people say they didn't ask for your gift, they didn't want it. The weight that comes with teaching is that you truly have a connection with the people that you teach. So there are times where a person, I know something's going on with the person and I can feel it. I can feel it. And something just nudges me to check in with that person. Oh, bro, your timing is crazy on that. Hey, how did you know? Hey, I didn't, but I was just obedient and I checked in on you. And then now you're telling me that something's going on, but I could feel it. So as a community is growing, a teacher has so many attachments, right? You see what I'm saying? A teacher has so many attachments. You could feel what's going on with this person. Hey, this person's up right now, but I know this person comes from this type of background. Hey, let me make sure because I want to see this person get it and keep it. Hey, don't get on social media flexing with it. Make sure you stay humble with it. Hey, make sure you tithe with it. Make sure you're doing the right thing for your family. Don't get too ahead of yourself. Don't get too like it's those things. You see what I'm saying? And that weight that a teacher has, God gives us the wisdom to be able to bear it because all the time it's like so much energy and so much happening at once. And you be like, what's going on? But you realize like you gotta pour from a cup. Like we get our cup filled from God. And I gotta pour because that cup go run on overload. So God give me messages like, okay, this person got this going on. This person got this. Okay, speak on this tonight. Talk about this. You don't know who it is. You don't know who it is. And then they'll come to you and be like, hey, man, what you just said was amazing. So let me tell you this for the person who wants attention. You have to be careful because you might get all the tests that a teacher has. Meanwhile, you're just chasing the testimonials that a teacher has. You see what I'm saying? You might get all the praise, but God might put you through the test first. So you were looking at it like when people say, oh my God, Kirk, hey, Kirk, you the man. Hey, Kirk, you the GOAT. Hey, man, salute to you. It's because God used me as a vessel to help change their lives. Like the praise doesn't get to my head because the minute that the praise comes to my hand, man, I know, man, we could barely handle praise. We dang sure can't handle glory. So the minute the praise goes to my hands, guess where I go? Boop. Hey, God, all glory to God. That's him. So that I can keep my mind right. So that I can keep my head on straight. You want the praise. You want the glory. And you're willing to put people in a situation where they might lose a ton of money messing around with you. And you're going to be quick to pivot and disappear and move on to the next thing and not think twice about those people. But you're putting so much energy into creating your content like you're the go-to person that people need to come to. You see what I'm saying? That's very, very dangerous. So people who want attention, don't do that. Stop looking at the leadership that's in front of you and looking to just pick something apart. Like how I got in teaching, I'm going to be honest with you. Even getting in entrepreneurship, I was trying to be a number two. Literally trying to be a number two. I was going basically virtually knocking on doors, going to people's businesses, right? People my age, people older than me, people different races, colors, creeds, whatever the case may be. Hey, I can help you with this. Hey, I can help you with that. Hey, how can I add value to you? Hey, can I be your intern? Can I do whatever? There was a point in time where I was doing work for $9.40 a project. $9.40 a project. And I was able to help this business owner pretty much quintuple how much he was making, right? And I was doing stuff for $9.40 a project, and I'm doing it for the experience at the time, right? And I recall those moments. I was never trying to be him. I was never looking at him like, man, I could do this better. Man, I know that I could. Da, 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 da. It was just about getting that experience. It was about truly adding value. You see what I'm saying? And I still would have been working with him, but he pivoted. I went to two more businesses and did the exact same thing. It's looking to serve. And then God elevated me like, okay, guess what? You thought you were doing all this because you were ready to be the best Scotty, but guess what? In this situation, you're not about to be Scotty. I'm about to elevate you. So I can tell when people truly have a heart to serve versus people who are coming around. They're putting the information above the transformation, and they're treating wisdom like it's a means to an end. And when I say wisdom, like it's a means to an end, you communicate long enough to think that you got it and you know it all now. So now you no longer need to communicate and you can go truly do what you want to do all alone, which was go and do your own thing. Hello. But here's the problem with that. You will find yourself fighting ghosts. You will find yourself looking for stuff to get you revved up and compete against, because you're actually going against the help that God sent you to elevate your own life. So now people can know the only people look and see the only reason that you're coming around is because you need something again, right? If you stay in communication, right? If you communicate to the point where you've mastered something, then guess what? Maybe you don't need to ask questions anymore, but now you could go ahead and help because you remember how it was when you had questions. So now you can go ahead and help and contribute. Some people just stick around to see what they can get, and when they feel like they got it all, then they disappear. But you're not low. You understand? You're not low. So I hope that we took this time right here just to try to get you to realize like who you need to be to become a profitable trader. All right. So now the one of the next biggest things, right? I have this as number 2 is people who are able to make however much money that they want to make in the market. They check in with themselves daily. And here's what I mean. The average person usually just checks in with themselves once a year, and they call that New Year. New Year, new me. So that means that they bought a version of themselves into a year, whatever year it is, and then they go and just coast all 52 weeks as that same version. The first month, they're a hype version of that person. I got this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm getting all my ducks in a row. I'm hitting the ground running. Da 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 da. By February, they off of it. By March, the weather's starting to get nice. You see what I'm saying? By April, May, they're worried about vacation. June, July, August, September, it's about to be a whole new year. But guess what? They're not even thinking about that. And then January happens again. And then they do what? They find content that makes it funny to excuse the fact that they didn't change a thing. So they say stuff like, oh no, next year my year. They'll say that on January 2nd of the following year. Yep, messed up this year already. Hey, run it back. What they're doing is living in the past and being like, dang, they just wasted the whole 365 days. See what I'm saying? People who are able to make a lot of money in the market, profitable traders, check in with themselves daily. They dare not go to sleep and wake up as the same version that they were yesterday. I want you to write that down. Check in with yourself daily. Don't go to sleep as the same person that you woke up as yesterday. You see what I'm saying? That's really, really big. If you, and stop looking at details and start looking at principles, right? If you're able to look on the charts and see, hey, I violated one of my principles, don't be the person who goes to sleep, wakes up the next day, and is able to violate that same principle, right? Make changes in real time. See, people who only check in with themselves once a year, you have no choice but to drain. You're a drainer. But here's the thing, right? I'm going to talk about the drainer like you're identifying as a drainer. You can only drain. You can't add value. And I'm going to tell you why. Even though I don't care what your heart says, I don't care what your feelings say, it's impossible for you to add value. It's impossible for a drainer to add value because people who only check in with themselves once a year, once a month even, what they do is they need to be in constant communication with the source of their energy, right? So this would be the person who reaches out to me about trading, and because they haven't made the transformation, they don't read. They don't read instructions. They don't set their account up. They're not patient. They want to come as they are and get right to the money. So they constantly message, constantly send messages, constantly call, constantly text, constantly need to talk just to take the next step. You see what I'm saying? They have to be handheld through the process because they haven't made the transformation to be able to go through the process without needing their handheld, right? And nobody tells them this. Everybody's just been saying, hey, no, 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 rock with me. I can show you what to do. I can show you how to do it. No, no, all you have to do is, and that's not the truth. So drainers, from that standpoint, like I'm over here calling them drainers now. From that standpoint, a person who hasn't made the transformation, checking with themselves daily, you can only drain. You can't add value, and you will think that it's other people. Oh, it's his delivery style. It's her delivery style. It's her teaching style. I've even had people tell me, "Oh, you better than such and such. Yeah, I should have joined you first. I should have did this. I should have did that." But it's like that person knows what they're talking about. So you couldn't win with them. Okay, you come over here. You're starting good. You're winning with me a little bit, but then that 2 month marker hits and you fall off. You've always been that person. You just never looked at it that way, and nobody's ever told you. You have a ticking little. You have the little sand, the little sand thing that you flip, boop, and the sand starts to flip out the other way. That's you because you haven't made the transformation. So you always have to be talking. You always have to stay connected to the source of the energy of the thing that you're talking about, right? And the minute that that's gone, you're gone. And then even the worst part of that is that you're going to look for negative reasons to blame that person instead of looking at the pattern in your life and saying, dang, I've done this with 10 different things over the past 10 years. I haven't stuck with any of them. Why? Because you're showing up as the same person, which is okay. You can show up as who you are, but don't leave how you came. All right. So, Mr. Everett, Mr. Thomas, they're able to check in daily. I'm gonna tell you a real story. All right. There was one time we're on a mindset meeting, and I was going in. I was talking about y'all like it's quiet. I come from sports background. I played D1 college football, and the best years of our team when we made it to the playoffs, we were a talkative team. People held each other accountable. We were talking on the field, and I picked up on that. The year that we didn't make it to a playoff, we had a different coaching staff. It was very quiet. The coaching staff was chill. They were really coaches, players, and it was very relaxed, right? But we were quiet, and nobody said anything until we started losing. You see what I'm saying? And so I noticed, I'm like, yo, we're quiet, we're quiet, we're quiet. And nobody says anything until we start losing. So I went in. Like I went in on a meeting, I was talking about, hey, let's proactively communicate. Let's talk ahead of time. Let's be prepared. There were a lot of people on the call. Out of everybody, Mr. Thomas, he started sending a daily financial report to the chat. It was a financial report that he get his email that he had subscribed to. He started sending that financial report, and he was operating off of this principle right here. The more we communicate, the more we make. He was operating off of that principle right there. He was doing the two highest things to add value to the community that he's in. He was creating and communicating. He was creating dialogue. 1, 2, the two highest ways to add value, he combined them into one by sending a simple financial report. He started sending that simple financial report, and next thing you know, probably 30 days, 60 days later, max, he's making 10K a month. Then it went from 10K a month to 10K every 2 weeks. Then he started making $20,000 a month. Bam, bam, bam. That paved the way for him to be able to retire from a job that he had for over a decade. So he went to sleep as somebody who didn't communicate in the chat and share things daily. He woke up and made the change and became a person who shared things daily. So he took the principle to heart. The more we communicate, the more we make. And in turn, he started making a lot of money. He bought back a lot of his time. Do you see that? Some people will hear that, the same principle, and go, mmm, and think like that's just the end of it. Like that, hey, no, and then they'll even hit you. Hey, that was hard. Hey, that was tough. Hey, bro, that was good. That was so good. That was so good. Hey, you did your thing with that one. Hold on, what'd you say? And they'll repeat it back to you. And I want y'all to realize something because I want you to make this transformation. I don't want you to identify as that spirit because it's showing that you're cognizant of what was said. You go, show that you know that there's value, but that spirit of delay will have you being able to recognize that, but not change and transform and make any moves on it. You see what I'm saying? Or the minute before the seed can even soak in, right, and break ground, it gets snatched from you. Hello, who am I talking to? So now you get the gem, you get the seed planted, but now you get distracted right after that. Why? Because you weren't ready for the distraction. So you just got the gym. You thought it was just gonna be all good and life was gonna be peaches and cream, but you didn't implement it immediately and start getting those 8 reps that we talked about. Start getting 8 reps, applying those things so that it's lodged into your subconscious and you become it. You embody it. Imagine if you went every time you got a gym that you said to, you went and repped it 8 times as fast as you can and started embodying it, made it a habit so that it's lodged in your subconscious. You see what I'm saying? When you do that, you can make however much money you want to. And it's from this principle right here. It's because you're putting in too much work on yourself to have to clock in and go to work because you're working 24 hours on you. Even when you're asleep, you're focusing on how you can enhance your sleep. These days, I take magnesium glycinate so that I'm working on the quality of my sleep. I take ashwagandha to calm on down. Magnesium flakes, bath at least once, twice a week, right? And if I don't take a bath with it, I'll soak my feet. I'm even working in my sleep. I'm working on my sleep. I'm working 24 hours. So I don't have time to go to work for 8 hours. That would be me paying a third of my day. And that's a third of my day that I could use to work on myself and to help others reach their goals. All right. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you see the language which I'm speaking? This is language that you cannot fake. You see what I'm saying? This is language that you cannot fake. All right. So now let's talk about Mr. Everett with his ability to be able to become somebody new like the very next day, to check in with himself daily. When he first started with us, this was 2022. It was October 2022. He didn't lock in till about January 2023. So when he first started, we were trading our real live money. Then we started doing some prop firm work. I'm gonna go in on prop firms too, in a good way, right? I'm gonna talk about prop firms. So we start trading on a prop firm. He got funded on a $25,000 forex prop account, but he got funded quick, right? And when he got funded so quickly, I knew he was over leveraging. He was taking the signals and he was over leveraging. And I said, wow, how am I going to break this to him? Right? Like, but he's on a roll. So he ends up getting funded. The next day he tries to take a trade and he loses. So then he hits me up and he said, hey, man, I'm trying to enter a trade, but it won't let me. So I looked at his account and he had blew the account. He had crossed the threshold because he over leveraged. Right then, I told him, I said, bro, I was hurt because I'm like, dang, he's coming here so gung ho, he's ready, he's on every meeting, he's got funded super quickly. I'm gonna tell him that he lost and he got to start over. I wonder is he gonna quit? And we had a one-on-one communication, right? We had a one-on-one. He scheduled a one-on-one, and and I told him, and I just heard his determination. And I said, hey, bro, you over leveraged. Here's what you did wrong. Here's how to fix it. He literally took that and ran with it, started doing good, started making some money. He was one of the first people to have $1,000 options day. What did he do with that money? He started booking more one-on-ones. He wanted to communicate regularly. Why? Because the more we communicate, the more money we make. So now he's hitting me up. He's proactive. Hey, I'm about to get ready to go on the road here in a couple weeks. I want to book a one-on-one before I get on the road, and I want to book a one-on-one when I get off the road. That way I'm not missing anything. He would tell me before he was going on stage, before he was going on shows. This is the same guy who made $200,000 within the past 5 months, right? He would tell me, hey, yo, if I miss anything, it's because of this. If I missed a meeting tonight, it's because I got a performance at this time and I'm in a different time zone. Okay, thank you. Proactive. The more we communicate, the more we make. He was same person. Y'all get what I'm saying? Now, look at him. On one of our one-on-ones, when we started trading futures as a team, I said, hey, start off with one account, one combine, pass that combine, right? Start off with one account, with that combine, pass that combine. After you pass that combine, get a payout. Once you pay yourself out, start the second combine. This was the start of that 5-month run that we're talking about. His first payout was $1,100. Then we said, hey, after you get the first payout, start your second combine, copy trade it with your funded, boom, get a payout on the second account, start your third. Do that all the way up, repeat that cycle up to 5 combines, right? Until you get 5 funded accounts. First payout, month 1, day 1, month 1, right? $1,100. 5 months later, $200,000 plus dollars. He got the game plan. He followed the game plan to a T. The results compounded because his consistency compounded within context. See, a lot of people have consistency with no context. So you keep showing up at the same place. You keep showing up to the meetings. You keep getting on the charts, but you're not doing it in the right context. You're not doing the right thing. So you're showing up at the right place at the right time doing the wrong thing. And then you're literally like, well, why can't I get the right results? You've been given the play, but you remix the play. You see what I'm saying? You remix the play because you might still be the person who's putting information over the transformation. So you have to transform and able to, when somebody communicates with you, you have to be coachable. That doesn't mean that you have to just be a blind, like just follow everything somebody says blindly. But you have to realize, like, I'm coming to this person, this coach, because they have insight that I don't. So I have to be able to run this play to get results that I haven't gotten before. You can customize and tailor make the play for you, but the principles will always stay the same. The details will be a little different based off people and schedule, how big your family is, how much noise is in the background, when you're available versus when somebody else is available. But the principles are always going to remain the same, right? And you got to know that we know who's coming to communicate so that they can feel like, oh, I know it now, I don't need you anymore, versus who's coming to communicate because it's the wise thing to do, and they're going to stay wise. They're going to embody wisdom. You see what I'm saying? We know the difference, all right? So let's get it. All right, the next thing right here. Here's the biggest lie people have been told. Oh my God, this is the biggest lie. It is plaguing our culture. I don't like it, and it takes a timeless truth and dumbs it down into a lie that the enemy can use to keep you frustrated and isolated. Isolation is elevation. That's the biggest lie that's ever been told. Isolation is not elevation. Now we're going to break it down. Let's say that you're living somewhere radioactive, right? Let's say you're living somewhere toxic, and now it's a radioactive place. You were born in this, so you don't even realize it's radioactive. Your lungs work at 35-40% capacity, so you don't even realize that you're in toxicity. Guess what? When someone comes along and rescues you out of that environment, they're going to isolate you, quarantine you so that you're not damaging anybody else. Isolation is not elevation. Isolation is meant to heal. Because once you're healed, you're back amongst society. You go to a different place. You don't go back to where it was toxic at. You go to a different place. Now it's time for you to elevate amongst people. Isolation is meant for healing, not elevation. You isolate when you are a danger to others and potentially a danger to yourself. You see what I'm saying? When it's time to elevate, guess what? Now you're going to be back amongst people. The scriptures say it right in the beginning. God looked and saw that everything he was created good, but he noticed one thing. It's not good for man to be alone. The same scripture also says, 2 is better than 1, 3 is better than 2, for they get a better return for their labor. If one person is alone and gets cold, how they going to generate heat if they're by themselves? That's why 2 is better than 1. You've been lied to. You've been lied to. Think about it this way. You go on these social media sites that have thousands of employees, that's a conglomerate, and that makes people billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. There's a support team if you need it. If something goes wrong, you can highlight the support team. There's IT team. There's everything. Everything is team, team, team. You see somebody get on the phone, press a button that somebody else made. That's another billion-dollar company on their 4K camera. They look you in the face and go, isolation is elevation. They don't even believe that because they're leveraging all the people who believe in teamwork to tell you that isolation is elevation. So if you could be around the right people, the right team, you'll be looking for a reason. You'll be looking for a problem to have so that you got a reason to go and isolate. And it could just simply be something simple as you don't want anybody to say anything to you. You don't want to be confronted. You don't want to be coached. You don't want to make the transformation because you feel like the information should be good enough for it to catch your attention, right? And then you gonna, you see what I'm saying? Then that's when you gonna go ahead and do what you got to do. No, you have to make the transformation first. So isolation is for healing because guess what? Nothing supports that besides feelings, right? Nothing supports that. Yes, there was a time where I was isolated, right? But guess why I was isolated? Because I had spent so much time doing the wrong thing at such a fast pace that God put me in isolation, not to elevate, but to heal. God put me in isolation so that I could no longer go around and freaking make other people toxic because I'm hurt and I'm operating out of pain. I'm operating out of trauma. So I had to get in a season when I was by myself. The only thing I isolated up was coming from the pigsty that I was in to get back to a foundational level. If you want to call that elevation, sure. But guess what? You had to fall down first. You're not operating on the foundational level when you're isolated. You're operating beneath that. So you got to get up off the ground. You got to get up from underground. You got to get up from the pigsty to walk on the level. And then guess what? Boom. Now you start elevating. But guess what? You start elevating amongst people. You start having favor with God. You start having favor with people. And they're able to help you isolate. Nobody does it by themselves. Leverage, all right? So some people are out here like you're trying to learn trading from a isolate and elevate mindset. You don't talk to people. You don't ask questions. You're trying to get somebody to teach you a $1 billion game for free because you don't value people. Because the only thing you're thinking about is you. Why? Because isolation is elevation. Had you learned 3 is better than 2, 2 is better than 1, you will be going to trying to find the other 2. And you will settle for finding 1. Do you see what I'm saying? But because you've been lied to, you're making it all about you. What can I get from this? I want to pay the least and get the most. I want to pay the least amount of attention and get the most results. I want to pay the least amount of money and get the most in return. I want to look out for the least amount of people and get the most attention. You see what I'm saying? Lies. Isolation is not elevation. All right. So now, here's the thing, right? I have this written down. This is funny. This is funny. Okay. So I need y'all to stop biting the cheese from people, because I promise you, I don't know, I just can't do it. Um, trading is so trading can be transformational in your life and everybody around you life. Like Mr. Everett was able to make $200,000 with us in 5 months, and he was able to stop traveling as a musician. So now he could play the gigs that he wants to play out of passion rather than doing it for a paycheck. And then he just had a child. Him and his wife were able to plan and have a child. You understand what I'm saying? Now he's able to spend time with his child. And he just told me that he's able to now actually go and watch his son play football. This is the first time where he's able to do so and do it like undisturbed or not have to check the schedule. He's made the time. He's bought his time back, all right? So trading is that transformational. Y'all, I'm not about to get online and dance and do a 10-second reel and hope to catch your attention. Because guess what? You're going to have more than a 10-second attention span to learn how to trade properly. You look an 8-hour shift right in the face because you feel like you have to. So here's another thing, right? People who are able to make a lot of money, make however much money they want to make, people who are able to become profitable traders, they use the mandatory words differently. They use have to differently. I have to. You have to go to work. They have to study. You see what I'm saying? You got to get up at 8 o'clock. You got to get up at 7 o'clock. You got to do da 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 da. They got to make sure they get their reps in. They got to make sure they communicate. They got to make sure they ask questions. They got to make sure that they get clarity on that subject, because they're not about to go to sleep confused. They're not going to start the day confused and end the day confused. So they got to make sure they book that one-on-one. They got to make sure they go watch that video. You got to go get up and go to work. What's the difference? We all have the same 24 hours. But how do you use your mandatory words? All your mandatory words sound like punishment. Like a kid, right? Punishment. Things that you have to do, but you never finish the other half of that sentence. Why do you have to do those things? Because you haven't locked in with you. You see what I'm saying? You haven't locked in and do what you got to do. You didn't lock in and go and study. You didn't give that thing a year to change your life. You didn't give it a year. You gave it 2 weeks, because that's how long you're used to working for a check. You didn't go and study 30 minutes a day, like we talked about. You see what I'm saying? And if you do it, you're counting how many days you study for 30 minutes a day. You haven't made the transformation to be able to just be a person that studies 30 minutes a day. You haven't defined your relationship with boredom, right? Boredom is going to be a part of your process. You can either be bored at work and have people telling you what to do for 1:30 a day, or you can be cool with implementing a boring process that yields exciting results, right? When we get on the charts, and shout out to the squad, we took a signal, as I'm doing this right here, we took a signal last night where Mr. Everett made $7,330. You see what I'm saying? I drew up the signal. Here it is. Sent it out. Bam. Then a couple hours, he made $7,330. The same old boring chart that we've been trading. Same old boring signal. We sat there for hours and waited for the setup. Boom. Setup came. He made $7,330. There's a person in the group who hasn't made the transformation. I'm just saying, there will be a person. They're amongst us, right? It's the majority of people. Same group, same signal. Somebody will have missed the signal because they got bored and they decided to go do something else, and they went and focused on a distraction, so that when the signal came, they didn't even recognize the signal. You see what I'm saying? They didn't even realize the signal in real time. You see? So it's things like that that you gotta be careful. They'll miss the signal and they'll be like, hey, so when is the next one? And I'll just sit there and look. I'm like, oh, you're a person. That's your relationship with boredom. So because you have this relationship with boredom to where you get bored quickly, people gonna be able to tell you what to do with your time because you don't know how to steward your own time. And so because you get bored quickly, you have a bad relationship with boredom. You're gonna have a bad relationship with opportunity because you always gonna be chasing it. When in reality, opportunity flows freely. It's gonna come right to you. But you're going to set yourself up to be able, listen to what I'm saying. You're going to set yourself up to be able to miss opportunity because you always need to be excited. You need to have somebody dance for you to show you that trading is real. You need to have somebody do the latest pop lock dance or the latest read the caption, come on, man. Come on. Like we're grown. Like, are you serious? We're grown. Be able to take some information for what it is, be able to ask questions, be able to write notes, be able to pay people for their time, and look at money as a seed that you're planting and that you're going to get a bigger harvest back. There is no tree where the seed is bigger than the tree. But if you have been trapped into thinking small, you will think that everybody and everything is trying to scam you. So we're gonna close out with this right here. This was kind of sad, and I wanted to address this, right? Speaking of leverage, the last thing that we're gonna go with is leverage your. Excuse me, not that. Speaking of leverage, the last thing we're gonna go with is redefine your relationship with money. Most people are the labor and work for money. That's what we've been taught how to do. We've been taught how to be the skilled labor and work for money. Here is what you need to do to become a profitable trader. You need to reverse engineer your relationship with money. You need to make money go to work for you. Money is a way better employee than you will ever be because money doesn't get tired, money doesn't get hungry, money doesn't get cranky, money doesn't get sleepy. As a matter of fact, money doesn't even like to sit still in the same place. Money works better when you put it to work. You see what I'm saying? Money doesn't need as much rest as you do. So you need to decide, hey, I'm going to gain the skills to make money go to work for me. If you don't do that, you will look at opportunity as a scam. I talked to somebody, and this is not the first person, right? So this is not a dig at that person. But I thought to myself, man, there are so many beautiful, genuine, kind-hearted people who have backwards relationships with money, so much so that they don't believe that it's a world out there where you could put money to work for you. Somebody thought a prop firm was multi-level marketing. And that was alarming to me because they said it with such belief. That don't sound right. You know that don't, da, 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 da. And I thought to myself, like, dang, I really have to explain this. But this is a wild thing to have to explain because they don't understand the principle of leverage in terms of them being able to leverage. They understand that it exists, but them being able to leverage. So, there are prop firms out there, right, where you can pay $50 to get access to a $50,000 account. And guess what you have to show? You have to show that you have the skill of being able to trade. You have to show that you have the skill of being able to trade. So they may require you to make 6% and you can't lose 4%. So on a 50K account, you got to make 3,000, but you can't lose 2,000. You have to show the risk management and the skills of being able to trade. Then they'll give you access to the 50K and you can keep 90% of the money that you make from that. People don't believe that's real because they don't believe in developing skill sets to make money go to work for them. They believe in becoming the skill and working for the money. You see what I'm saying? So I was explaining that to this person. I'm like, wow, this is sad. This is sad. So People, you do not need $1 trillion to start off trading. You need a community. You need to develop the skill set, right? You need to redefine your relationship with money, and that's what we help you do at LYMG. So here's what we've done to help people solve the three biggest problems, right? If you want to trade and you don't, you've been saying I don't have the time. So what do? We provide real-time signals. Most people are at work while the money is moving. You see what I'm saying? So what we do is provide real-time trading signals for you, and we provide competency videos to let you know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Then guess what? When you're off work, we're also going to meet 3 times a week. We meet 3 times, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, all at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, right? To give you the confidence and the competence that you need to go ahead and make money in the market. But wait, that's not it. We also have an on-demand course where the videos are 30 minutes or less, right? That way, when we tell you to study 30 minutes a day, bam, you can knock out an entire module. Boom, boom, boom. It is designed for you, people who have real lives. And guess what? All that is our proactive approach, because we're going to do the LYMG Live Rookie Boot Camp. So when you lock in with LYMG, you get access to the on-demand trading, you get access to the real-time trading signals, and then you're going to go through our LYMG Rookie Boot Camp, take your notes, study 30 minutes a day. So by the time we get to the LYMG Live Rookie Boot Camp and we're meeting on Zoom, you've already went through the camp, you've already taken trades with us. Now your questions are even better. So by the time it's time for us to communicate, the quality of the questions are up here. Boom. Then guess what? You get access to that trading as well. It's a no-brainer. So what we've done, we've priced everything at what we call a no hesitation price, meaning that if you hesitate, you might look and the price is going up, because we're talking from a standpoint of being able to help people retire from their 9-to-5s. Just within the last couple months, we helped somebody retire from their 9-to-5 they had over 10 years. We helped somebody make more money in 5 months than she made at the job that laid her off when she came to LYMG. Right now, she's a self-sufficient trader. We helped somebody make $200,000 in 5 months. And fresh off the $200,000 in 5 months, we just helped somebody make $39,720 in a day. A 20-something-year-old truck driver. You see what I'm saying? So, we're here to help you. We're here to serve you. We're not that group of people where we just want you to look at us and look at what we're doing. I'm not the person. I don't even call myself the leader of the group. I call myself the steward of the group. God gave me this thing to steward, and I'm going to steward it properly. I don't even look at me and say, hey, I want you to look at me and look at what I'm doing. I never want you to pay attention to me unless I'm trying to help you. That's the only reason I will ever ask for your attention, is to serve you. Because how selfish would it be for me to want to stop you from what you're doing only to fulfill me? That just sounds nasty. That sounds disgusting, all right? So there's a link right here somewhere, right? I want you to click it, and I want you to take your leap of faith. That no hesitation price, that's for you. That's for you, right? So that you don't have to hesitate, so that you don't have to wait until the next month after the next month after the next month after. You don't have to wait for tax returns, because guess what? The bills are going to keep coming anyway, right? I don't know who Bill is, but he shows up every month, and he shows up in multiples. He has twins, quadruplets, all of that stuff. So take your leap of faith at this no hesitation price that you see. Lock in, and I promise you're going to love the results. And give yourself permission to give yourself a year to change the rest of your life. I promise you, all right? You're in the right place, and you are not seeing this by coincidence, all right? So let's get it. Let's get it. Thank y'all. Make sure that you lock in LYMG Mindset Monday. We're going to be doing this every Monday, all right? We're going to get better and better and better with this. So I hope that you got some value from it today. And just in retrospect, right, to review, in order to become a profitable trader, I told you, go get everything that you need to become a profitable trader. Put the transformation over the information. Check in with yourself daily. Get off of that program where you're checking in with yourself once a year, once a month, once a week. Check in with yourself daily. Don't go to sleep as the same version of you that woke up. All right? And then finally, leverage. Isolation is not elevation. Leverage. That's real elevation. All right? 3 is better than 2, and 2 is better than 1. All right? And then finally, to get all the details that you're looking for in terms of trading, click that link, lock in with the LYMG family, and let's get to it. We got some goals to hit, all right? Let's get it.